Everybody say hi. Okay, so I have to do a school project. This is a presentation to show you the importance of listening. So how many of you have gotten a lengthy email and read the entire thing? So when you have a whole bunch going on and you have 15 emails from MVP, do you read all of them? I don't. So those are, this is
I tried.
what I'm gonna, this quick overview. So we're gonna go through the listening styles, how you can listen, even reading an email is actually listening, how we're actually losing these skills, and how we can improve them, and why these are vital in what we do in HR. So, a relational listening is kind of like a feminine approach. It's having a relationship, feeling comfort for the person that's speaking, it's an emotional approach. An analytical listener is someone that is, I guess they're looking for you to make a point. So they will analyze everything, they'll actually sit back and they'll watch you. They'll take in the full thing and then judge you, I guess you could say. A task-oriented listener is actually a masculine approach. This is more of the male side of it. So this is, I guess, you're looking for me to make a point. And you need me to make a point now rather than talking all the way around it and then making a point. A critical listener is a nitpicker. They'll actually point out, well, you said that wrong, or, well, it could be done this way, and they'll interrupt. They want it to be exact. They're only listening to make a yes or no decision. Okay, so mindful listening is, again, on the relational side of it, relational side of it, they actually, I lost my words. They take it all in before they make a judgment. So they actually listen and have rapport with the speaker. They analyze them. Mindless is actually jumping in without actually listening to the whole conversation or the whole speech. They jump in, they make accusations when they haven't listened to the full thing and got the actual story that they need to listen to. So the barriers that we're faced with on a daily basis is environmental, which is, can you hear the fan going up there? Or the air conditioner out there? Or white noise, or my bracelets. This is a barrier. This is actually something we actually shut out of our minds so that we can pay attention to what we're actually listening to. Psychological barriers or physiological barriers are the disabilities. So people with hearing disabilities or people with deaf, they're deaf or they can't speak or, this specific barriers that we are faced with. And some people do have them, but some people can face them. The psychological barriers. So if you're preoccupied, like I said, with the MVP, you have 15,000 emails coming and you actually only need to do work on one of them. You're preoccupied, you have so much going on, you have a message overload. Or you have, even like Victoria Talbot said, you send an essay in an email, you're not gonna read the entire thing. You gotta move on to the next one. So you're gonna pick out, you're gonna do a scan over it, you're gonna take care of what you have to take care of and move on to the next one. So that's a barrier. Too much in a message, less is more. Egocentrism, which means you're a priority, like you believe that you don't need to be here. You think that you know more than the person that's speaking. You don't want to listen, so you just kind of tune it out and do your own thing. Ethnocentrism is superior to others in a different culture. So you think that their culture versus your culture, you think that yours is superior to them, and you don't want to listen to them. We also have barriers such as language barriers, accents. It's hard to listen. It's hard to take our language and your language and make it one. The fear of ignorance. I'm going to use myself as an example on that one. When I first started here, I didn't want to speak up. I didn't like to because I didn't know anything. didn't want to do any of that. So I didn't speak up, and that is fear of ignorance. So even if I didn't understand and I wanted to paraphrase it, I couldn't have because I didn't have the confidence to do it. So that's another barrier we are faced with. To overcome all of these, we're going to work on them or to improve them. You can withhold judgment and listen to understand. Talk and interpret less. Don't interrupt. Listen to the full message before you have something to say. Paraphrase, and for those of you who know what paraphrasing is, it's not the same as repeating. You're going to focus on the nonverbal cues. So if my nonverbal cues is I'm up here shaking, and I'm scared. But the smiling and the frowns and the, oh, okay, we have to talk about this, or, those plus we have, I guess when you're watching somebody and they look like they don't want to be there. A lot of people don't want to listen to that person because they're not passionate about the subject, so why should you? Take notes, analyze the speaker and all of their words, and ask questions. Okay, so why do we need this? So in HR, it's our job to listen. We have to listen to our employees. That's gonna help us gain a reputation. They trust us. They want to talk to us. How many of you have answered the phone and heard someone's entire life story, and then only be asked where your pay stubs are? So it's our job to listen and talk to them and comfort them, and then give them what they need. So we're going to have a lot of miscommunication if we're not listening correctly. I have done it myself with Victoria. She writes me a lengthy email. I start doing what I'm supposed to be doing because it's normal, and she's like, girl, read my email. So I have to go back and actually, every word for word, make sure I got it. And we all do the same thing. We have near misses. We have accidents on site. We have missed deadlines, unmet deadlines, and there's a lot of confusion because we're not actually reading or we're not listening to what's actually going on. And a lot of, myself included, we'll have a presentation or we'll have a meeting, and if it's not written down, tomorrow or 3 days from now, we will go back to, oh, well, I didn't take notes, so I don't know where that's at, and I don't remember what it is, which leads me to asking Monica again, what did you say about this? That way I can write it down and I have it in front of me. And that's it. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for standing here because this scared the Jesus out of me. But thank you so much for letting me do this. Thank you, Jason, for coming last minute. I appreciate it. Good job.